Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Ace Attorney Justice for All. In the last episode, we were getting pretty far with our investigation and unfortunately we found out for sure Matt on guard is indeed a creepy, crazy dude. And he ordered the hit on Juan Corrida. So now Phoenix is faced with a very harsh decision, a very harsh truth and reality, and now we have to see what we're going to do in the trial. So this is it, guys. It's the final battle. Let's continue on. Uh-oh, that music. How did I get into this mess?
That's far enough. You can't run forever. Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Uh-oh. What have I done wrong?
I cannot allow you to go on like this.
But I'm just a simple defense attorney.
Silence! You are no longer worthy of your title.
And there we go. If that looks familiar, you guys will remember that took place in the beginning of the game. I've had this dream before, someplace, some time ago. As if this day was written into my destiny. Today, I'll stand in court as a lawyer to prove a killer innocent. Oh snap! That's so cool. I love that kind of thing when storylines do that. It's foreshadowing and it's just so cool the way they did that. And back then when we first saw that dream, it was like, you know, we thought it was alluding to what the first case in this game was, which was basically that Phoenix had gotten hit on the head and he had forgotten everything. And it was very interesting. It made sense then in a way, but it was like, but why the judge? And everything he was saying kind of didn't make sense, but now it totally makes sense. So yeah, basically Phoenix is in a crossroads. Let's see what he's going to do about it. March 23rd, 9:43 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. There's that phone. Love it. Hello, this is Phoenix Wright. Aw, man. Now On Guard is calling us directly. So when he's in a certain persona, I'll do the On Guard voice that I've been doing, but when he's like in that creepy, scary mode, then I'll do that voice. I guess it was just basically just a lower pitch.
You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right?
You're calling us even though we're right in front of you? You're so weird, On Guard. Oh, crap. There he is.
If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just me. Your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict, too.
Where the hell do you keep getting that drink from? That's what I want to know.
Now listen up. You'd better get On Guard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag a not guilty, I'll never forgive you. Ever.
Maya. Phoenix. Phoenix!
Mia. Maya. How's Maya?
I don't know.
You don't know?
She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday.
Mia, what am I supposed to do?
Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. You know, Mia, I love you and all, but sometimes I don't agree with this saying. Like, why should you have to smile? That doesn't make any sense. Like, It would make more sense if you were saying something like you have to remain calm and cool-headed or something. That's fine. But smile? Gotta disagree with you on that.
But you can't give up. There's still some hope left. Stop it, please. There's nothing left. Not here. Not anywhere.
Ooh, he actually spoke back to her. There we go.
It's that cursed on guard again. Will you leave me alone? Look, don't call me anymore. I mean it.
Uh-oh.
You're really mean, pal.
Aw, you didn't even check who was calling before you said that, Phoenix.
Ah, Gumshoe, I'm really, really sorry. Where are you?
They let me join the investigation team and we're chasing after the killer, pal.
Then you have some sort of lead?
Sorry, but right now we've got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not going to give up.
Gumshoe.
Until the trial is over, until the verdict is handed down, we're going to do everything we can and find the killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get on guard the guilty verdict he deserves, pal.
That's true. I could do that if they found Maya first.
You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer.
I have to make the trial last longer.
If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you've got, then you too can draw it out.
Oh, now I get it.
I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. As a team, whoa! So, believe in us. We're going to give it all we've got, just like you.
Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance.
Yeah. Now you can smile.
Looks like we're coming to the end. I have to make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through. I know it.
Yes. And you know Edgy Bay will help us out. So let's do this. Lots of bluffing and pressing.
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
Why do you always gotta say it like that?
Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being what exactly was Miss Adrian Andrews' role in this murder. That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. Then you're saying that she is guilty after all? I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? It looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Yes, Juan Corrida was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client so to speak, is Matt on guard. Let's get him. What a surprising turn of events. I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. After all this time we've been dealing with Phoenix Wright and all these weird cases. I know what's going on this time. So I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true.
But we still have to hold out as long as we can. At least until Maya's safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today.
Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Ah, why we gotta drag this out and deal with Will? Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please.
Okay. I'm, Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action store.
And what is your relation to the defendant?
Well, that's... I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him in a way. Yeah.
Mr. Powers,
Please, you don't need to put yourself down so much. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy.
on the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Well, what you doing, boy?
But, you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went.
All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Onguard's room.
Okay, sure.
Alright, let's hear about this since he never told us about this.
After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his Knuckle Samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back.
I'm sorry. Why do I always yawn when I'm doing certain voices?
I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me.
We were those guests.
Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony.
And talking with the bellboy is no big deal. If one assumes that the person Mr. Onguard was speaking with an ordinary bellboy.
What are you implying?
We knew what he looked like, but... Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? And totally ignore whatever the judge was just asking us. Looks like we're in another sticky situation.
Huh?
A trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just going to have to charge in head first, right? Why are you setting up traps? We're going through enough crap already. Don't do this, Edgeworth. Don't. Okay, after the award ceremony, I went by myself. Why? I'm kind of curious. The defendant's room? Why did you go there?
Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother, sort of, and I wanted to say congrats. What's wrong? Why did you stop?
Mr. Wright! What is it?
You're going to try to trick me into a corner, aren't you?
Huh? Dude, we're friends. What the hell?
I know I'm just a poor underpaid action star, but I'm not the killer.
No one said you were, Mr. Powers.
No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy.
Every time? Witness, I would personally talk to the defense at a later time. So for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony.
Sorry. So you went to the defendant's room, and then...
Hey, wait a minute. When and how did I suddenly turn into the bad guy here? Phoenix, you're always the bad guy. Matt was standing there, still in his Nickel Samurai. Let's see. He was talking with someone at first. I thought it was the bellboy. At first? What do you mean by that? Looks familiar, right?
Well, he was in a bellboy-ish uniform and he had a bottle of juice on a tray.
The juice. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me.
Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy.
And why was that?
Why did I think that, Mr. Wright?
What do you mean? Well, how am I supposed to know?
Sorry, but I can't remember right now. Sorry.
I guess I'm going to have to wait patiently on this one. That's not convenient at all. Then I gave up and went back. You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant, together, correct?
Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats.
Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange?
You know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip.
A tip? But that's a perfectly normal thing to do.
So, how long did you watch the two of them? Not more than a minute or two, I think.
Guess with me then I can wait. Hold on, I didn't, Let's press on this one. Might as well. Are you sure that was Matt on guard?
Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai mask then.
If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. And what was the defendant doing, standing in front of his own room? Okay, this is one of those we do have to press every single thing. Alright. I don't know why we gotta press on this, but whatever. So who are these guests you're talking about? Phoenix, come on! Why you always gotta act stupid?
You guys, of course. You and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway.
This is like squeezing water from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Do you remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state. I ended up focusing on her. I see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. So, got myself to Matt's room that was in there. He was talking with someone at first. I thought it was the bellboy. I gave up. Okay. No? Okay, so I think I had to press again. And this is one, because he forgot earlier, but maybe he remembers now. So let's press on this again. At first, what do you mean by that? Didn't think he was a normal bellboy. Why did I think that? How am I supposed to know? Hey, wait a second. Actually, Mr. Powers, only a few minutes ago you stated...
You know, I did feel something weird.
I think it was because Matt gave the bellboy a tip. Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself?
Oh, yeah, that's it. You really know your job. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he?
Perhaps we should let the witness tell us.
Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony. You mean about the bellboy, right?
Yes. Matt gave the bellboy a tip. Okay, let's press. So he gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that?
Well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me.
How much it was?
But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow at all.
Sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. Okay. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. Of course we're curious about the face, but something about the tip is what we should probably focus on for now. The defendant is a huge star. He can afford to give generous tips, wouldn't you agree?
Sure. But giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think.
A little too much? Would you please clarify for the court about how much would you say the defendant gave to the bellboy?
Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess.
And why is that?
Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash.
A roll of cash? That's a lot.
Ah, well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it?
A very fat roll of cash that can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. Of us? Wait a second. Should I... Do I have to raise an objection to defend Matt? Oh man, I kind of forgot about this whole section. I actually forgot we even had to talk to Powers at this point. So, let me see. If I don't object, it will probably be bad. So let's object then. The defendant is a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him. Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting? That's really funny. Alright. I don't know. I mean, I should do the same, right? Let's go be bellboys. He's got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work.
So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it?
Payment, Your Honor.
Payment?
Isn't it obvious? For the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida.
Then the bellboy the witness saw.
Yes, he was the assassin. See, we're on the right track. Asking about his face, I mean, I'm curious, but the tip is more important.
Hold your horses now. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't have any proof of this, do you?
Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley the Killer left at the scene of the crime.
Shelley the Killer?
He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain that the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley the Killer.
Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head and I think I just figured something out. Oh? Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night.
What? Yep. We all did.
Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw. Yes, sir. Right away.
I almost went into Gumshoe voice for a second there. Just because he said sir.
This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin. I'm sure of it. I mean... He's like,
Thank you very much. That is all we need for now.
huh? But I'm not done. There's still more.
He was going to keep talking. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. the Killer. Then we shall see.
So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious.
That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. So rude. Ha 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 ha. This is no laughing matter. Of course not. Okay. Now I think about it, the bellboy did seem kind of out of place. Why is that? Let's press on this. So what exactly was so out of place about him? Right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's going to say next?
Well, the bellboy was empty-handed.
Empty-handed?
That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you? I agree that it is a bit strange, Mr. Powers.
But is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide, or... No, let's try to pull a fast one, because I actually do see what's wrong with this. There's nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy.
But there really is.
Stop being stubborn, Will. There really isn't. Will, stop giving me a hard time. If you two are done being school children, bellboys offer room service. There is no reason for them to be empty-handed, ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one.
Edgeworth?
Are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious?
I see. Very well, this court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could amend your testimony, please. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest's room empty-handed. But it was Juan Corrida's room, and you remember what he was holding when he was with Matt. I believe it was this. And this was in Juan's room, so all he did was drop it off. Duh. Mr. Powers.
Yes?
You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true, like a true gossip fanatic.
But, isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and...
Stitches? Uh-oh. See, if we had asked about his face, he probably would have mentioned the stitches that we know the killer has. So, a baseball has stitches. Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches? Really, Phoenix?
Well, there's also... what about him being empty-handed?
I would like to ask the court to please take a look here.
This is the crime scene.
There is a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Corrida's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what is on top of the table in the lower right corner here, anyone can clearly see that it is a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Corrida's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left.
Oh, but that would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room.
No. Ah, but can you prove that Mr. Corrida was already dead at that time?
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth!
How dare he turn his... ask me for proof, which is what I do to him all the time. Yes?
I blame you for leading me down this route.
I'm terribly sorry. But we're gonna have to leave this episode right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye.